Okay, so this is our first attempt at a podcast. My my co-host JR is having some trouble broadcasting from his phone. So we're gonna try and do this with typing, I guess, and I guess I'll be the only one live. Oh, he might have had to refresh. Give him a minute. Well, I'm Parasire. My real name's Damien. Uh, my friend JR and I wanted to start a podcast together, and this is it. I tried to do a podcast by myself a few months back. Some of you watching who are my friends personally might have seen it. I was going to call it Night Talks or Nighttime Talks or something like that. But I couldn't find any more guests, and I kind of wanted to get a co host because, I think there's enough 30-year-old white people yelling into the camera about stuff. Oh, he's got an iPhone. Yeah, that's probably the problem. Switch to Android, my friend. It's okay. We could do this through typing. Oh, he messaged me on Facebook. Hold on. So I was thinking, uh, I wanted to get back into the podcasting game for a few reasons. Uh, After what happened to me with the police last year, I couldn't really talk about it because the trial was still going on and such. I don't know who just joined the room. Anyway, so I was going to make our first topic about, you know, the defund the police movement. How do we feel about it as a libertarian? And I don't really know what side of the political spectrum JR would be on. He says he's not really into politics. I call no politics is politics, though, in my opinion. Oh,
Yeah,
there we
that
go.
was
He's
good.
here, and we're live
There we go.
after 5 minutes, but we'll get it figured out. So all of our viewers, I promise, will do better next time.
Yeah, I just had to open it up through Safari there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did it work when I said allow your camera to have access and
yeah,
whatnot? Yeah,
yeah. It was all good. So yeah.
perfect.
Let me just thing over here.
So I don't know if you could hear me when I was talking there. You were probably trying to get things set up, but yeah, I was hoping maybe we could talk maybe a little bit about that since that trial's over with now, and I can talk about how I feel what's going on in today's world. I've noticed a few things, right? And it's not that I'm against any kind of Black Lives Matter movement. In fact, I support them. I
Yeah,
hope they do well. I hope the people who are out there peacefully protesting, trying to peacefully get the message across that this is important. I hope they, get it across. I hope we see some real change across the world because I've noticed a few things. I've noticed a lot of class warfare going on. You know,
hmm
I had this discussion with a friend of mine. I think it was last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about what makes a criminal, right?
Yeah.
Well, they generally someone who breaks the law, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what about the guy who didn't break the law but couldn't afford a lawyer to fight it in court?
That's me.
Me too.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, so this is why I wanted, and I need a co-host. I can't just sit here and talk to myself. I seem like I'm crazy enough.
Yeah,
But cheers. I'm glad you decided to be my co-host, JR.
yeah, for real. Might have the kids pop in every few minutes here. They're on the other side, just finish up the school and stuff. So, yeah. Listen,
Yeah,
every
that's
time you
cool.
every time you talk, there's like it's like a ripple effect. It sounds like something's like crackling inside there.
Oh, you know what? I'll fix this real quick. I'll bet you I know what's happening. I have my mic open.
Yeah, yeah, I got a mic too, but I don't think I connected to my phone. No. Yeah, no.
Okay, there we go.
There you go. Yeah. Nice.
How's that? Much
That's
better?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Probably sounding better on the screen too then.
Yeah. It's still crackly a little bit, but it's all good. It's better.
I hear something like typing. Sounds like typing. Or is that crackling?
That's the crackling. Like every time you say something, it's like, yeah, it sounds like the speaker's almost blowing a bit.
How's that?
A little bit better, I think.
Well, we'll work on it as time progresses. Joe Rogan's podcast wasn't that great when he started. He's a beast now.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's all gravy. But yeah, man, no, that whole situation, man. I don't know. I think like in the states, I think it's really like a big like powder keg just ready to blow up.
Oh yeah.
Like I think
There's,
like it's just one big like thing that's just gonna go like crazy and like just waiting like a ticking time bomb, just waiting to go, right?
do you think war is gonna break out no matter who wins the election down there?
No, if only if Trump wins. It's gonna be something else if Biden wins that one because yeah, he's like kind of different than Trump, but they both like it's the lesser of two evils, right?
Yeah, my whole problem with Biden is like the guy was on board with all those tough on crime bills that
Yeah,
have led us to where we are now. But Trump, the guy's a maniac.
yeah,
He's a
he's
bona
just
fide autocrat. Like,
yeah. No, he's just fucked. So yeah. All right, wait, we're able to swear on here.
what's that?
We're able to swear on here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do
Oh,
whatever you want.
oh, yeah, yeah. No, no, no.
Fuck
Trump.
yeah.
Yeah, no, no. Trump's fucked. Trump's just fucking ridiculous. Like he's yeah, he's just out of his goddamn fucking mind. And like yeah, but him initially winning just kind of proved to everybody that like the presidency is just kind of like a fucking like
It's a
charade, kind
joke.
of like a joke, you know?
Well, that there was a lot of research done into that. It had all to do with the Jim Crow laws
Yeah,
back in the day and whatnot.
yeah. So, but like, yeah, what he's done is just and like if there is like say a powers to be, like a top head of the president, like they've kind of kept him a little bit in line because like it hasn't been an all-out war, right? But then like all this stuff now that's happening, it's like yeah, now it's like it's out of their control now. It's like the power's back into the people, right? And what they really
Well,
hate is that the power is into the hands of the black people now with the Black Lives Matter and all stuff like that. It's like it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's like um there's no like one main leader for that. You know what I mean? Like not one.
kind of
Like
like anonymous.
yeah, they try to say like Farrakhan is like the minister, but he's not like the official leader. You know what I mean? Like he's not like the official one, right?
A lot of people today don't even really know the difference between the terms communist and fascist. And like, dude, I was called a communist and a Nazi in the same day, in the same
Yeah,
argument.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah. No, a fascist. I just kind of learned what that was, and I didn't know that for a while there. So there we go. That's better. I didn't know what that was there for a while. So I was like, oh, okay, okay. And then yeah, but like yeah, communism's just I don't know. I thought that was like something not to be feared, but something that like someone was like back in the day, you know. They come from Russia or something like that. It's like, oh, that's a commie, you know, like, and it's like, oh, okay. Now it's like a different, took on a different term, different everything, you know.
Well, I feel like the way automation and stuff is going in the world today, like we're gonna need a healthy dose of socialism in a free market capitalist society. See,
Yeah,
we've seen evidence of socialism failing, and we've seen evidence of it working. And you look at Sweden and it works. You look at Venezuela and it was a huge catastrophe. Venezuela is an interesting case though, because if you look into it, the guy's like a crony socialist.
yeah,
And that's what we have here in Canada is crony capitalism, and that's why the system's failing us, you know?
yeah. See that works. Oh, there you go. That's better. Yeah. No, the whole yeah. That's the thing is that they say nowadays is like because for me growing up I wasn't into politics, right? Like I ain't like didn't
Me
care who the
either.
prime minister was, didn't care who the president was. The president didn't even matter to me. It's like okay, well it doesn't matter, you know. And then Obama became president, so I was like, oh, first black president, yeah, cool, it's all good. And then still wasn't really into politics and who's what and this that, right? But then it's like um basically since this whole coronavirus, it's like okay, well you need to know this because now they're doing things behind the walls and behind the scenes with no one being there to agree on, no one to disagree on, right? So it's like, well, you need to know this because now laws are getting passed and no one even has any knowledge that they're getting passed on, you know?
Exactly, like the undemocratic gun ban in
Yeah,
February.
so like that's like a thing. So it's like, yo, so yeah, kind of just learning more into it and kind of getting into it more. And it's like, oh damn, okay, this is messed up, that's messed up, and then I forget his name. The Muslim dude here in Canada, J Dip, I think his name is J Deep. I can't remember his name at the moment, but there was a thing where he was calling out one of the premiers there for being racist, and they kicked him out of the hall.
Jagmeet Singh.
Yeah. Yeah. So and they kicked him out of the hall for calling the one person racist. And at first I was like, oh no, like I was like, yeah, that's good, yeah, call him out, it's all good, like yeah. And then like I learned like my buddy told me he's like no, you can't do that there. You're not allowed to do that there. That's like no, you shouldn't be doing this. You can't be calling them out. Can't be doing that. That's not part of the rules and all this. I'm like, oh, okay, I see how the whole thing works now. It's like, oh, not like
Yeah, if
it's
you want to call someone out, you got to do it in a press conference. You can't do it in parliament. That's a
yeah,
bad thing. It's
yeah,
very unprecedented, and
yeah.
it's like being like Trump, in a
Uh-huh.
way.
Yeah, well, without the power, because Trump,
Yeah, exactly.
he call anybody out, and then he's still going to be in that same
About
position.
Jagmeet Singh, I have to say that I was, and this is what pisses me off about social media and fake news and what's not fake news,
Yeah,
right? Is I was inadvertently being racist towards Jagmeet Singh, and
yeah.
I didn't know it. I
Oh,
was like, "Oh, I don't want a Muslim in charge of the country."
oh
Well,
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
he wore a turban. And then I
yeah,
actually went and I researched the guy, and he's like, "Oh, he's not Muslim. He's Sikh.
yeah,
He's Punjabi, right?" And I was like, "Okay."
yeah. And see, some
And
people wouldn't even do that. Some people wouldn't even go out their way to look that up and just be ignorant to the knowledge to be like, oh, he's wearing a turban, so he must be Muslim. Oh, he must be, you know.
exactly.
Yeah. So,
But
yeah,
yeah,
but
and
I didn't know that was a
I'm
thing.
a big enough man when I can admit it. I was
Yeah.
being racist. I didn't know I was being racist, but I was being racist. And I'm glad I had the knowledge and the mindset to like go and look at his policies and who he is.
Yeah.
You know,
So yeah, but
because
yeah,
I'm not like that. I mean, I don't want Muslim culture taking over Canadian culture. That was the whole
no,
big deal I was trying to make. But he
yeah,
wasn't a Muslim, so that was kind of a void point.
yeah. No, and the thing that I find real cool is how people always say, "Oh, America, the land of the free. You can be who you want to be in America. It doesn't matter your race, religion." No, America, that's different. In
There's
Canada,
classism.
that's how that is. You can be whatever you want to be in Canada. You can be, you know what I mean? Be any type of religion, any type of thing, and it's not really a
It's not a
divide
deal
here in
here.
Canada as it is in the U.S. In the U.S., right?
Yeah, we have a in our charter of rights and freedoms. It's written right in there. You cannot discriminate against anyone due to mental illness,
Yeah,
uh,
creed,
religion,
color, and yeah,
color, sexuality, whatever.
yeah,
And I mean, that's good. I'm glad we're like that. However, we go back to that what makes a criminal conversation, and it's very deep because when you look into it and you start talking to police officers about it, and you'll hear them admit, yeah, we have a quota,
yeah,
but how do you how okay, so the point to policing is to bring down the crime rate, to
yeah.
make the community safer. How do you do that with a quota? Because that is just inviting the police to solicit crime
Mm.
at that point. And that's illegal.
No, that's the,
And they say, well, it's just a few bad apples. It's just a few bad apples. Well, that saying is a few bad apples spoil the barrel. Have you ever taken a moldy piece of fruit and put it in a bowl with other good pieces of fruit?
the
You know what
rest.
happens?
It spreads, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so then they started in the wake of the George Floyd death. They
yeah,
started asking this fantastic question that made me start to look into it a little because it made me interested too. If
yeah.
if there are so many good cops and it's just a few bad apples, why are there a few bad apples at all?
Cause there's cops, you know.
It's that brotherhood mindset, the thin blue line. It's bullshit and it needs to die.
Yeah. Yo, give me one quick second here. Hold up.
Sure, for sure.
Oh, let's see.
Do you have a set of headphones maybe? That would probably help. Yeah, as soon as he muted, yeah, as soon as he muted him, I can't hear the echo. So if there's like a set of headphones he has, it would probably take away that crackle. Like I said, this is our first attempt at doing a live stream. We're gonna post it to YouTube later, probably unedited. Uh, like I said, we don't give a fuck about swearing, and we're just real here. You know, we'll put a disclaimer at the front of any postings later that foul language. We won't do any nudity, obviously, because we're not like that. But uh, we gotta we just want to follow the rules best we can. Uh, get our messages across. And we don't always want to talk about politics on this podcast. Sometimes we're going to talk about other things, just basically what's going on in the world. Right now, what's going on in the world, unfortunately, is Donald Trump.
Oh,
Right?
can you see me and hear me?
Yeah, I can see and hear you.
Okay, what's up with the headphones? Some reason they're not. Yeah, they're not connected. But you can hear me and see me.
Yeah,
Okay, well, okay.
yeah. Like I was just saying, we can we'll work on it as time goes on. It'll get better.
Oh yeah. Oh, you gotta work the kinks out and figure out whatever by then.
Yeah, we were saying before, we're just winging it this time. We're gonna post
Yeah.
it to YouTube unedited. Like
Yeah,
I was saying, Joe Rogan's podcast wasn't very good when it started, and
yeah,
he's a legend now.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. See me, I'm on the Joe Budden train, right? Joe. So yeah, and his started off in the studio, and now they, you know, getting crazy. So no, podcasting is a crazy thing that's been popping like crazy lately.
oh, you can't get away from it.
And like the crazy thing is, like there was podcasts that were going before this whole pandemic and corona thing that were going really good, and then now there's like a lot more since, right? And even like say like my kids, they gotta do their class, the Zoom class, right, which is basically a podcast, right?
Yeah, we were joking about that with the news during the Corona thing. We were like, man, the news turned into a podcast.
Yeah, yeah. No, oh man, no. The news is depressing. Like,
And we have to watch it or we don't know. It's
yeah,
we're on such a razor edge of losing democracy right now
yeah.
because we've been following laws set in place by colonial slave owners that were only meant to help out one type of
Yeah.
person, that was white people, right?
Hmm. Oh yeah.
But
Oh
they're
man.
but
Sure.
they'll tell you, well, there's poor white people too, and drug addict white people too, and it's like, yeah, there is.
Hmm.
And so it's led me to believe that it's racism, but it's more like classism disguised as racism, and that's somehow worse, isn't it?
Almost. Yeah. Like, are you in Edmonton too?
No, I'm actually in Sedgwick.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, in
I'm in
Edmonton,
Alberta, but
yeah. Well, in Edmonton, you probably heard about how they have like the bum camp, basically they call it
the what?
the bum camp. They call it like the
Oh, the tent city and the
tent
yeah,
city.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like, majority of the people there are white.
It's crazy.
Like, there's
It
like
is crazy.
it's mostly white, and then the dudes that are black or people that are black there are like drug addicts. You know what I mean?
Or dealers, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen them
Some
both.
yeah, or like user dealer types. Yeah,
Yeah.
But like some people, they're like missing a foot, missing a leg, missing an arm. Like it's just and especially now they like they can't work physically. And then the government's not helping them out either, right?
Well, it's very interesting
Yeah.
because they say, and I've heard more than one premier, I heard the top cop at the RCMP say that there's no such thing as systematic racism in Canada, and they're referring to against black people.
Yeah.
But the thing is the way they treat the natives is definitely fucking racism. And it's systematic. It goes back to the residential schools. It goes back to when we farmed Canada.
Yeah.
It goes back to way back when.
Yeah.
It goes back to 4 people ago.
Yeah. Yeah, see, in Canada, the native people have it way worse than like basically any other race, really. Like the police, they'll pick people up and drop them off somewhere else further.
In
In
Saskatchewan, yeah.
yeah. So in the states, this is what the cops do. They'll pick up a gang member and put him in the opposite gang territory, right? And then they'll just leave them there, and they let society take its thing. Here in Canada, the cops do the same thing, but they'll take them out somewhere really far and just leave them. A couple people
Yeah.
that know, they do that. They took them out in the snow and drove them way far. No phone, no nothing. Took them far. They didn't even know where they were at, and then just
What
left
did
them
they
out
call
there.
that Blue Moon Trail in Saskatchewan? They would do that to natives in the middle of winter, drive them out of town, like
Yeah,
like 20, 30 miles out of town in
yeah,
the middle of winter and drop them off in a t-shirt and jeans. And it only became known when one of them survived and made it back.
yeah. Well, I had a few buddies that that's happened to. They drove them out far. They're drunk or something like that. Drove them out far and just left them. And only because they were drunk, they were like they made the trail, made the hike to somebody's house, and like the people were scared when they opened the door because they're like, oh, a drunk native dude at my door, like what's going on? But as soon as he kind of like explained himself and what was going on and kind of got a clear thought to them, they're like, oh, we got to help this guy. and like stuff like that doesn't make the news. Stuff like that
No,
doesn't go public like it should
because
be,
it
right?
doesn't fit the narrative.
Yeah,
Because in reality, it's a class war. They're waging class warfare on us.
yeah.
Because the
So
people who go behind bars are the ones who can't afford a lawyer, and the
yeah,
people who actually do really bad stuff afford the really good lawyers and
yeah.
get off and keep doing the real bad stuff.
Hmm. So yeah, yeah, yeah. And like me, like I've been to jail. You know what I mean? So like I know, not like I know people in there, but like I know how the system works in there, right? And to know how it goes about, right? So and yeah, a lot of people in there, if they were given the right lawyer, if they were given the proper chance, wouldn't have been in there because there's some innocent people in there, right?
Oh,
And like
absolutely.
then like me being my first time being stupid, I went in there and like buddy's like, oh yeah, they got me for this, and got me for that, and I'm like, well, did you do it? And everyone's like, dude, you don't ask that, man. What's wrong with you? I'm like, whoa, like, sitting in the remand, a lot of people telling me that they're innocent. A lot of people telling me that they ain't do this, they ain't do that, right? And then that they sound some bullshit, right? So I'm like, so did you do it? And he's like, oh yeah, dude, I did this, I did that. And he's like, but they caught me for crimes that I didn't do. And then they got me for a bunch of crimes I did do. They got me for something I didn't do. And if they didn't get me for that, then I wouldn't have got, in trouble for the other stuff that I did do, right? It's like a monopoly effect, right? So I'm like, see, so like, how are they going to bust you for a crime you didn't do, and then drop that charge, but then charge you with 50 other crimes you did do, right? Like, it's almost like a ghost charge or something, or like non-president, like a type of deal where like they get you on some nonsense, but then after they get you on some other real. So it's like, yeah, court system
Yeah,
is just
and that's what I was talking about with soliciting crime, and that's
yeah,
because the prosecutors have quota
yeah,
and the cops have quota. Hell, even the CPS has a quota,
yeah.
and
Oh,
that's not how you should run things. It's just not.
no agendas, and yeah, war on crime, war on race, and war on war. The world's just a screwy fucking place, really.
That's that's what's led to all of this.
Yeah,
This the negative talk, the war, the word war itself is negative,
yeah,
but it draws so much attention.
yeah.
The war on crime, the war on terror, the war on drugs. It's bullshit.
Hmm.
All bullshit. It's all revenue generators. That's why I stopped calling RCMP officers officers. I just call them revenue agents. I came
And
from a
really,
family of moonshiners, man.
if you if you take that word raw or war, flip it upside down, you've got raw, and that's what they don't like is the rawness, and they don't like like say someone buys drugs, they don't like the raw, say cocaine straight from Colombia. You do that, and you're messed up for a few days. Or they don't like the rawness of. A police doesn't like you when a black man's in his face trying to tell him about his business. Oh, I pay for your taxes. Like I pay your paycheck with my taxes. Like they don't like that. Or yeah, it's, saying deep there in the parliament telling people they're racist. They don't like that rawness. They like that layer of protection, or that layer of
It's called
uh,
pettifogging.
yeah, like they need that, and then they can do all that, right? And that's what I was gonna say with the parliament thing. It's like it's not a secret society or like Illuminati thing, but it's like we have this certain standard to be in this club, to be in this setting. You have to abide by that, and that's like okay, well that's parliament. Now in real life, you have to have this. Like you leave your house. These are certain rules you have to abide by leaving your house. You can't across the
That's
street
right.
without walking.
Okay, so look at Donald Trump. It's the same thing in the States. When he's on the campaign trail, and the first year in 2016, when he was like, "Listen, you motherfuckers, you're gonna stop doing this," right? He
Yeah.
doesn't do that in Congress. Do you know why? There's an etiquette. And that's what every Republican congressman told him. Be professional at all times.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's like yeah, you need but like at the same time, like you need that's like a golf club or a golf golf club. You go to a golf thing, you gotta wear a certain T-shirt, you gotta wear like a certain thing, you gotta
A
can't be
formal
cutting the
dinner,
grass, you gotta be certain this and that, right? But at
a
the same
wedding.
time,
Yeah.
yeah. But at the same time, they got like cool rules too. It's like, oh, you can drink on the green. You know, you can drink,
Yeah.
but you can't smoke. You can drive these carts, but you can't crash into people. You can't, go on this certain part, but you can do
Yeah.
this. So
You
it's
can
like,
drive your carts on the fairway and the rough, but you can't
drive on the green.
drive them on the green. You could
Yeah,
smoke on the fairway and the rough, but you can't smoke on the green, and that's because that grass has to be perfect all the time. They don't care about liquid going into it. They
yeah.
don't.
And see, and that's how, like, really, if you compare that to how, like, life is, there's, like, all this rough world you can go into and do this here and do this there, but don't do this on this certain area. Don't be like this over here. Don't be like this over there, but you can be like this over here all you want. This perfect area has to stay perfect. This perfect area has to be good. But over here, go do what you want to do. On the per se, like if you want to take it in the race, on the nice white, the green, the perfect, looking color, the brighter color, the nicer color, it has to stay a certain way. On this black, this dingy stuff, go ahead, do what you want to do. Go ahead, smoke, drink, do whatever you gotta do. Ride over it, spit on it, and do what you gotta do. But over here, no, over here we need this to be perfect. We need this to be good. We gotta leave it. Which
So let me ask
is
you this:
yeah.
in Canada, like what political part would you put yourself? Like, what would you call yourself politically?
I don't even know, man. Uh, what do they call it? Where it's like kind of like independent, but like more for
Libertarian.
like more for the people than like you know, because like I'm not
Independents are more for the people. Libertarians are for less government. They fight
well
against
that's
the government.
I'm kind of in the middle of everything right now because like I'm still learning a lot as well, right? Learning certain laws and learning certain things as well, right? Like um, growing up, it was always like NWA, fuck the police. You know what I mean? It was always that from the start, jump, right?
That's legit my favorite joke about the whole police situation. It's like
Yeah,
maybe they should calm the hell down. Nobody ever made a song called "Fuck the Fire Department."
yeah, right. So, but like that was when I was younger. Now growing up, I grew up around drug dealers, pimps, prostitutes, like all that negative stuff, right? I grew up around that. But growing up as well, some of my friends became firemen, some of my friends became policemen, some of my friends became drug addicts, some of my friends became prostitutes, some of my friends are on OnlyFans, some of my friends are rappers, some of my friends are, you know what I mean? So it's like I see where everybody is at and how it happened, and it wasn't because this person that's a drug dealer's family, they're rich. A person that became a police officer, their family wasn't rich. They did that to break the generational chain of their family. They want to become something now, right? This person
Right.
that became a drug dealer, they're just doing it to show off to be a fucking idiot. They're throwing their whole life away, right? This person has become a police officer, wants to make something out of himself, right? So, and the girls that are become like on OnlyFans, they're just some girls are doing it because they're sluts. Some girls are doing it because they want money, and they can't work. They got 5 kids at home, and they're like, fuck, I'm horny as hell, and I make fucking $20 just playing with myself. So it's like, yeah, give and take, right? So, like, I learned a lot I learned a lot growing up, right? So, from when I was a kid to now, it's like you see the world differently, you know what I mean? So, yeah, and like, yeah, when I grew up, politics and laws and that, nothing. I grew up with the cops being racist to me. But there's times where I was like pushing it myself.
I remember
Thinking,
growing. I'm gonna imagine we're about the same age,
yeah,
and
32.
you're, I'm 30, so I grew up in the
Yeah,
'90s too. And yeah, actually, I'll be 31 next month. So,
yeah.
so we should do a podcast on my birthday. We'll just get smashed.
Yeah. Oh, if I ain't got the kids with me, I'm down to smoke, drink, all that. So,
No, that's good that you don't do that around your kids. I
oh
respect
no,
that.
no, no. No, and see, and that's another thing of growing up, right? It's like,
But I mean, weed is different in my
yeah,
opinion. But drinking, yeah, don't do that around
yeah. Well,
your
no, it's
kids.
like, what I mean is like when I grew up, or when I was little, sorry, like my mom and dad would have like parties and have like people over and stuff like that, you know. But like they'd always go outside to smoke still, you know, or the liquor was like they're in their little circle or whatever like that. And it's like, hey, well, you kids can't come in this area. You know, you gotta stay over there while they're all drinking and stuff. They're still doing it in the house, but just like it was kind
Well,
of
my
different.
friends, they're like that, except usually we don't go start drinking there until after their kids go to bed. So,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
you know, after a
Uh,
certain age, it's like, you know, we're not going to bed till 10, 11, 12. You know what I mean? So,
well, they got a house through Habitat, right? And I actually helped them. Habitat through Humanity. It's very good.
oh,
I'll plug them anytime. Very
nice,
good place.
nice.
Uh, I went and helped them out and helped them get their house there. And there's a big basement that they just modified for the kids. So, the
Oh,
adults stay upstairs, the kids stay downstairs, and it's
yeah,
all good.
yeah,
Then there's the backyard and that. I'm helping them out as much as I can.
yeah, nice.
I
But yeah, no,
I
for me,
mean,
I'm like,
I,
I can't
go
be
ahead.
under the influence or I can't be a certain way because then, you know, I either make promises I can't keep
It affects
or
your judgment, and I
yeah,
respect that.
yeah. So I just
I
can't do
respect
it.
that. Me, I'm
Yeah,
a thinker. I'm always thinking, right? That's
yeah,
that's what I do. After I hurt myself,
yeah.
after I couldn't go to work anymore, after I figured out in the last year that I've had a condition for the past 10 years called spondylosis.
Oh, shit.
I actually have to get cortisone shots in my spine. Called
Uh,
a it's called a nerve root injection. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I've
See,
had
for me,
two
they
already,
want
and
me
I'm
to
gonna
do
have to
something
get
similar.
more.
They want me to do something similar. I got a pinched nerve with a slip disc in my back. That happened
Ooh,
last year. And they're like, oh well, if you want to just keep working right now, let's just give you these shots, and then you should be good, and you're back, you'll feel brand new. But you'll have to just keep coming in, getting these shots, getting the shots. I'm like, I can't do that, man. I can't keep coming back and getting needles and like I hate needles already, but I'm like I can't keep coming back. And one day my back's good, and if I don't have the shot, it won't be good because then they get dependent on it, right? I'm like, no,
so
I can't.
my condition, you know, the nerves in your spine. You know how there's a little hole in your spine that the nerve shoots through and
Yeah,
shoots in and out of.
yeah.
That canal is too small. That's what
Oh,
spondylosis is. So
it's a
every
little.
time I bend or move or twist and the nerve activates, it's pinching
Oh, okay,
for
yeah.
10 years.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
I've 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 been like walking down the street and then lose all feeling in my legs and fall over.
Oh shit. No,
Yeah.
no, fuck, I'd go crazy with that. That's what happened to CT Fletcher one time. He fell right on his face.
Well, that's why I had to start driving more.
Yeah,
It's because when you're driving, you sit in one position, you move your foot a little bit, right?
yeah,
And your nerves ain't moving when you're doing that.
yeah, yeah. Find the perfect thing, and that's the thing too, right? It's like that kind of goes back to the tent city. There, it's like if these certain people could just find a job that kind of works to their disability or works to their situation, they'd be better off, you know. But it's like, oh well, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to go through
Yeah,
all this.
well, yeah, I can drive, but I can't unload the truck.
Yeah,
That's the problem,
yeah, you know, and
right?
there's probably 50 young kids that are looking for jobs that are willing to be that person to drive with you. You know, they come with you for the drive, and you're the one that has a license, and you're the one that's able to drive the big truck, and this and that, and they'll be the ones that unload it. They'll be the ones that ship everything off, and it's like a partnership, right? They'll be able to do all
Uh-huh.
this. They're young. They can lift. They can move faster. They can do all this. Unstrap. Do all this and then all you doing is the driving, and all they're doing is this and that, right? But
And I'm
see,
so glad you brought that up because those young kids have done something wrong, got a criminal record, and something like that. And this goes back to that what makes a criminal thing
yeah,
and what we have to do to change the system. I think gun bans are stupid,
yeah,
and
oh,
I'm going to tell you why. I think across the board, they're stupid. Everybody be like, oh, we don't want people just running. I'm
yeah,
okay with background checks. So don't get me wrong. I don't want lunatics running around with guns. I'm
no,
okay with, you know, certain types of mental disorders not being able to have guns, like homicidal,
yeah,
fucking schizophrenia
yeah,
kind of deal. Like PST, bipolar, I don't think they shouldn't be allowed to own guns.
No.
I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think
But see now,
I
how do you check for that, right? Some people
well,
have
you
a mild case of it. Some people have an extraordinary case of it. Some people
the
have
meds working.
a low percentage of it. You know?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I personally think that there shouldn't be gun bans issued when people are let out of jail for the crime they commit. You've served your sentence to society.
That's I'm in that boat right there. You know, I my crime was a non-violent crime, but yet I have a 25 to life weapons ban. You know, I can't proceed a weapon. But it's like, okay, well, what is considered a weapon? Right? It doesn't say just firearms. It says weapons, right? So I can't have a knife collection. I can't have a gun collection. I can't have a sword collection, which is like really stupid, you know. But yet I can have a set of steak knives. I can go and buy myself a fancy set of steak knives, no problem. I can go and buy myself replica guns, replica swords, but I can't have the sharp blades, or I can't have. They have to be certain, whatever, you know, which is like silly because I can make the replica guns into a weapon. I
Yeah, I
can,
had a 10-year firearms ban when I got caught selling pot when I
yeah,
was 20.
yeah,
And I recently I'm 30 now. That firearms ban's lifted.
yeah,
And that's why I'm going for my pal. I put that down as they're like, "Why do you want your gun license?" I was like,
yeah,
"Well, number one, I want to be able to hunt for food
yeah,
after this pandemic's over with, obviously, because it's transferring from human to animal, animal to animal, animal to
yeah.
human."
So
But
like, how does that work?
my number two reason is I want to show people that if you're given the right path to walk down and you can get rid of that criminal stigma, because that's the big thing.
Yeah,
A lot of jobs have. Let me put it to you this way: there's a company that's like, say, a like Aaron's
yeah,
or the Brick, and you apply for a job with them as a driver.
yeah,
Well, their furniture, electronics, and etc. have to be insured in case of a theft in the store, in case of embezzlement, in case a driver decides to take off with all their shit.
yeah. They have no choice. Like you have to,
That
that could be the
you
law.
have to get insurance.
Yeah,
A stipulation for insurance is that they won't hire anyone with a criminal background. It doesn't matter what you did.
yeah,
You could have been a drug dealer. You could have no theft. You could have never stolen even a stick of bubble gum in your life.
yeah,
But if you got caught selling weed when you were 17, try and make 20 bucks to go to a movie with your fucking girlfriend.
yeah. Nope. Then you're a hardened criminal from doing that. You know. It's like wow.
There, like I said it on Facebook the other day, like, the victimless crimes are just revenue generators. I
Hmm.
mean, people get more time for selling drugs than people get for raping someone. And I mean,
Oh,
nobody
the war.
nobody asks to be raped. People ask for drugs, okay?
I was about to say the war on drugs is bigger than the war on pedophiles or the war on rape. It's much, much bigger than what it should be, and it's because some of these people in those high positions are doing the raping or are pedophiles. You know what I mean? Like they say about
I'll
Joe
agree with
Rogan,
that. I
right?
won't deny that. I don't agree with QAnon and their whole shit. I don't think the masks are a big government control tactic because, like, I could show you this whole film, and I mean, if we decide to watch it, we won't do it on the podcast for copyright reasons.
Yeah,
I mean, we could watch clips of it
yeah,
for later, but I'm gonna plug the film. It was a BBC documentary called it's called Anonymous: How Hackers Saved the Planet or something like that. Hold
okay,
on,
yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna Google it or
yeah,
and I'll say the name of it.
yeah. Yeah, Anonymous, they put some stuff out there a couple times and just like shocked the world and like really got it out there, right? Um, Yeah, the one like the Jeff Epstein.
How
shit.
anonymous hackers changed the full world is one of them.
Okay. Yeah, like the Jeff Epstein shit, like that was like a crazy thing. The whole, his island.
Oh no, this went back further than Jeffrey Epstein. I'm talking about when Mubarak was in charge in Egypt back in 2012,
Okay.
and I helped out in that one too. I was helping with encryption
Nice.
and
That's crazy.
lending some computer power to them to help out because I also helped set up some of the live streams, and
Nice.
I gotta tell you,
Pretty crazy.
well, you watch a movie, you see someone get killed, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't affect you,
No.
but you help someone in another country set up a live stream and then watch that person get gunned down. Holy fuck, it's bringing tears to my eyes just thinking about it.
Yeah.
You watch them get gunned down with an M16 by their own fucking government, and it's different.
Yeah.
It's very different.
That's who's it? I think Easy said it too. You see Easy Ice Cube. You see Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie. He's killing all types of people. You see Sylvester Stallone in the movie as Rambo, killing so many people. So many people. You don't think nothing of it. You're like, oh yeah, yeah. No, it's a crazy movie. Oh my god, it's crazy. It's all good. Entertainment. And then in real life, something similar is happening, and it's affecting certain things. It's not affecting you because you're not seeing it as you saw the movie, but it's affecting other people in those areas. Or even if in the same sentiment, you have the white dude come in and killing all these people and not really showing what it was like before he came in the situation, and now all of a sudden he came in, destroyed everything, and everything's all crazy now, and now the new government has come in and do this, do that, right? So it's just
I like how in the middle of all this bullshit, Netflix just threw on V for Vendetta.
yeah. Yeah, V for Vendetta. And then what's crazy too is the dude I forget his real name now, but the dude that's in that and the dude that plays Mr. Smith in the Matrix, he says that like all these movies that he's made that have certain tones to them and certain things to them, that the people make them into these conspiracies, or they relate them into politics, or relate them into other things that are going on. Because he said, when I do these movies, I'm not doing this with the basis for them to be relating to politics from 5 years ago or 5 years from now. He's like, I'm doing the movie to be a character, to be an actor, to be this and play the role. It doesn't have nothing to do with the politics of the world. It has politics of that movie. With the Matrix is a mind bending movie. With V for Vendetta, it's like a government type of thing. It's like, how do you not even like understand what's going on? But to him, it's a different type of deal, right?
Yeah, and I'm I- I'm glad we talked about all that stuff because it brings me back to that point. We saw what's his name, the BC NDP premier got in trouble there a couple nights ago. Said that he didn't have privilege or whatever. He grew up around a bunch of indigenous and
I don't know.
colored. Ah, you know what? Oh wait, you're on a cell phone. We'll have to work it later so that you can watch YouTube videos with me. That's why I chose this site because you can share YouTube videos and
Yeah,
actually watch them.
so it says something. You can put that on there. I was like, okay.
Yeah. And that's why it's kind of a plug-in for this site too.
Yeah.
And it's a good site. It's like Tiny Chat used to be before they got all greedy. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and deny that there's white privilege as I've witnessed it. But as a white kid that grew up in Wetaskiwin,
Yeah. Probably.
I grew up around like my best friend's native. My
Yeah.
best friend of 20 years is native. My other best friend is a white guy, but he's like me too. We grew up in ghettos as
Yeah.
poor families.
Yeah.
We just made the best of whatever situation we were in. I'm not even gonna call it a bad situation because being poor isn't a bad situation. It's just classism. It's just the way the greedy world works.
Uh-huh.
And that's what we need to fight to change. We need to attack the problem at its core because you take away classism, racism follows. It's like a domino effect.
Yeah. Well, as you said, there's white privilege. I'm actually reading a book called Black Privilege. You know, so
There,
yeah.
there's white,
So
there's privilege for everything, man.
and then,
The
yeah,
natives here
exactly.
get
Like,
used to remember. Do you remember growing up around natives and hearing them talk about getting their 18 money?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tell me that's not a privilege,
No, that,
right?
you know, that's what they're trying to say. They're trying to give reparations for slavery and stuff like that. So you're gonna make everybody go poor trying to do that because that's like, you know, if you're gonna give every black person money for slavery, it's like, well, you going the country's gonna
From
go
what
poor.
I know about my family is we used to be rich.
Yeah,
One of my grandparents, well, not my grandparents, but my great 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 grandparents or whatever, sailed from Ireland to Africa and
yeah.
fought in the Second Boer War. And
Oh,
in
okay.
Africa, heard about what was going on in the States.
Yeah.
And then he sailed over to the States, spent all the money he made helping out the Africans,
Oh, damn.
buying slaves,
Yeah.
and then he sailed them to Canada and freed them.
Damn.
And my fucking family's lived in poverty ever since, or at least
Yeah.
most of us. Some of us have changed it.
Yeah.
I I I'm okay with that. Fucking I learned that and I was suddenly okay with everything I went through.
Yeah. No, some people is like I'd rather work my ass off so my kids have this and my kids have that, you know? And it's like, oh no, that's good. Like cool, that's good. But at the same time on the other scale, it's like, well, if my kids have everything, then they're gonna be spoiled. They're gonna have this and that. And then they're not gonna know struggle and they're not gonna know, you know, when tough times happen. They're not gonna know what to do if they're given everything, right? And so me, I'm kind of in the middle with that. It's like, well, I want to give my kids everything I didn't have, you know, like they already have a different childhood than what I had, you know, so that's already a thing. But at the same time, I don't want to give them everything, you know, like of course everybody wants
We're
to give.
already gonna have a different childhood than you have.
Yeah, you know, like of course.
Because we got, and oh my God, do you know how bad I wish I could live to be 500 or even 1,000 years old?
Yeah,
Because it would be so interesting to see what kids today come up with. Because
yeah,
thinking about it, honestly thinking about it, you and I had to have a university degree back when we were growing up. The 10-year-olds can now Google and be like, oh, that's how that works.
yeah. Cool. Still good.
How long
Yeah,
do you
my
have?
kids are- oh wow.
10 minutes.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'll be a bit.
You said
Oh man, I totally like remember being that kid. You said this.
what's that?
I'll talk to you in a bit.
Who's that though?
No, your business. Yeah, yeah, he's over there playing music, trying to work. Sees me working
I'm
out.
just a friend from the internet.
Saw me working out, so now he wants to try to be working out and sitting there playing music and all that. So,
Well, that's
yeah.
good.
But see,
That's good.
that's what I mean. I'd rather them see me doing things and learning from that than me giving them things and learning from that, right? Like, you know, like yeah, give them a bank account, yeah, give them money and stuff like that, but not, you know, like give them everything where they don't have to struggle, you know? Like they still got to like, you know, life's going to be rough, life's going to be here and there, you know? So certain things is like, well, you got to understand, you have to be a certain way. His problem now is with this whole pandemic and stuff like that.
You gotta
Doing
sit inside.
now, sitting still in front of a computer and listening to a class. You know,
Yeah.
not being able to socialize with his friends and not being able to talk how you would in a classroom. You know, sitting in front of a computer, so he has trouble doing that, right? So
I understand. I get that. I get that 100%. I
yeah,
have a big problem with the education system in this country, though.
oh, it's ridiculous.
I do. Listen, they're trying to gear everybody towards trade school. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that trade school is a bad thing. Trade school is good.
Yeah.
We definitely need welders and pipe fitters And we definitely, and I'm not going to say oil is a bad thing, but it's not the end all to be all, and we don't need to be putting our eggs in one basket like Mr. fucking
No,
what's his name wants to do.
no,
All the conservatives,
no.
our our assistant trailer park supervisor of a premier.
No, what they need to do is start teaching like taxes and stuff like that, and
In
like
the
stuff that,
education system. Not only that, but I want to see like free thinking individuals be encouraged to follow what they're thinking about.
yeah, yeah, because
Like, do you know how aggravated I am to wonder at night? You know what keeps me up at night?
what's that?
How many Nikola Teslas has Alberta turned into welders?
Oh, too many. Too many, because so many people, and you can see it in their work. Actually, you can see it in
And
the way
another
they sell.
question I have is why did I learn who Audie Murphy was before I learned who Watt May was?
Because the way the system is, the way they wanted you learn, the way that they're
It's
forced, the way
ridiculous.
they're forcing you to
Audie
do.
Murphy was America's most decorated war hero, right?
Yeah,
Watt May was Canada's.
yeah.
And I didn't even learn about Watt May till what, 2 years ago?
Oh, yeah. See, yeah. No, no. Helping the kids with their homework and a lot of things. I'm like, oh, like why are you doing this when they should be learning about this? Like, yeah, you need to learn how to read, and yeah, you need to learn how to do math. But when it comes to reading stuff, um, once you learn how to read and they kind of go out, like my daughter, like she's in grade 7. So once you start learning how to read and you start reading, well, now all of a sudden they're hitting you with like a bunch of stuff that you have to read fast and read fast and read fast, and not giving you the time to kind of process what you're reading. Not just nonfiction books, but like stuff they're teaching you as well. They like write a bunch of notes on the stuff, and if you don't write the notes down or you don't read it fast enough, they're erasing it or they're getting rid of it. You know, it's like, well, you don't have time to sit on the information. You know, as say something that they want to learn about a book or a movie, you have the time to sit with that information. You know, where in the school you don't have the time to sit with that information, right?
Yeah, you're jumped right to the next class. Oh,
Yeah,
why I just learned all this stuff in social.
yeah.
Now I got to learn all this stuff about math.
Yeah, and then by the time you get to say art, where you can express yourself, well, now you lost all your ambition. You're tired, or
Yeah.
you know your hand hurts from writing all day, and now you can't really brush the things, or you can't really do what you want to do. You know, right now, or if you're not an artist and you're athletic, by the time you're done all your other classes, you're exhausted in gym class. You can't really run as much. You can't shoot the ball as much. You can't, you know, and it's like,
I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about unconventional learning. Like, what about a guy who wants to just say be a blacksmith?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean? Just build swords and guns all day long.
yeah.
What if you want to be that guy? What if you want to learn how to extract ore from the earth and then turn it into metal and build something out of it?
Yeah,
Like, what if you want to learn how to do that?
yeah.
You should be allowed to.
They
That's
don't,
what school should be.
they don't teach
Teaching
you none
kids
of that.
what they want to learn.
Yeah,
Because mining is a trade, welding's a trade, blacksmithing is a trade.
yeah.
What if you want to learn how to do all three and you don't want to be a specific trade in any one of them? You just want to do it for a hobby.
What are you doing? Yeah. No. Yeah. They don't teach none of that. The only thing that I got taught in school that I was like, kind of with now is say screen printing. They taught us how to do screen printing and how to put like things on books or T-shirts or stuff like that. Right. That was just one of the things that I learned in class that I was like, oh, okay, you know. And then how to use a bandsaw, how to use a drill press, how to use like stuff like that. But they didn't show us how to use you know, a grinder, or how to use you know, a concrete cutter machine, or how to use none of that stuff like that. You know, just like the
Huh.
real like basic stuff that you could have in your home garage, you know. So it's like, yeah, like they didn't go in depth, or they didn't go nothing specific, you know. Screen printing was like, oh, you can put this label or this name on anything. You want to put it on a T-shirt, you want to put it on a book, you want to make a sticker, you want to do this, okay, there you go, you know. So it wasn't like, yeah, you could do this, you could do that, you know. You could be a shoemaker, you could be, you know. aspire to be this, a podcaster, nothing like that, right? So yeah, my school sucked. So yeah, yeah, not really a lot of like options to do things, right? So
I mean, I used to like I grew up in the 90s when all the white kids used to walk around dropping the N bomb, so I started doing it too. And it was really hard for me to shake that, and a lot of other white kids too, but I started replacing it with ninja. That's what I started saying. I started calling everybody ninja. What's up, my ninja? What's up,
they,
ninja?
yeah, no, I grew up around a few dudes that were like cool with that and like let that slide and like stuff like that. But then it was like, so I got like dudes that are like way blacker than me, as black as my shirt, right? Some dudes that were like they let their white dudes, what let the white friends say it, and then some dudes that were like, no, I don't even want a black guy say it. I don't even want you addressing me like that. Don't even say that to me, right? But then it's like the dudes that let their friends say it. They're cool with their friends saying it, but now like Johnny and Richie, the rich preppy dudes, they say it, it's a problem. It's like
Right.
like how you gonna let that slide but not let him say it, or how you gonna let him say it but not let him say it? So yeah, that's all shit. So for
I
me,
just, you know what? I just wanted to respect it. I
yeah,
mean, I honestly felt enough anger about it that I felt like, you know what, I'm gonna change the way I think about this, and I started changing the way I speak. That's just how
yeah,
I am. This
yeah,
is
and it's that's the thing. Like growing up too, it's like
that's the thing about growing up is you never stop. You never stop learning.
yeah, but like I was gonna say like growing up, like you see things on TV and you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like and there's a time where everybody wanted to be a thug, everyone wanted to be gangster, right? And then moving on, everyone started watching Sons of Anarchy. Now everyone wants to be a biker. Everybody wants
Yeah.
to be a gang. You know what I mean? And then moving on, everyone wants to be this and everyone wants to be that. So it's like kind of like yeah, different societies, different things, and it's good. But at the same time, it's like well, just be what you want to be. You don't have to be a specific. You can be a thug and be a biker. You can be a black biker. You can be that, or you can be a biker that's a rapper, or you can
I
be like
like how I didn't like how they ended the Sons of Anarchy series, but I like how they threw in that I want you guys to strip this old black guys can't be members rule, and they were all like
yeah,
cool with it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's yeah,
Oh, sorry, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the show now, it's whatever.
yeah, your own fault for not seeing it yet. It's on DVD. Yeah, no, no,
It's
no,
on
yeah, I
DVD,
like
it's
that.
on Netflix, it's everywhere. It's been out for like it's been over for like 6 years now. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah, I like that because well, they have another series called Mayans, right?
Do they? Did that
Yeah,
actually come out?
yeah, it has 2 seasons out so far.
Oh shit! I
Yeah,
gotta fucking see that. It's
yeah. Oh
about
no,
what's his name?
it's good.
Alvarez.
Yeah, well, he's in it. He's not like the main in it. He's in it more than he was in Sons of Anarchy, that's for sure.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
So yeah, but like, yeah, that was a rule that I was like, yeah, that should have been abolished a long time ago. Like if you have Mexican gangs, why can't you have a black biker gang? It's like, the one episode they see they go to a gym and it's a bunch of preppies on scooters, not motorbikes. They go and end up fighting those guys, right? Muscle bound dudes. I think they're tough. And it's like, riding little scooters instead of motorbikes, right? So it's like, you can have that. Why can't you have a black bike?
That just reminds me of that one episode of Sons of Anarchy. Remember, but they when they made the prospect follow that guy on that like toy mini bike.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of sad when he fucking prospect died there. That was kind of fucked up. I thought he was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be one of those shows where like they start off with the prospect and he
Ah,
makes
yeah, I know. It was one of those shows where he broed out with the guy and they killed him.
yeah, yeah. There are a few
Bastard.
things in there that I was like, oh shit, that's
Like
fucked
playing
up.
Red Dead all over again.
Yeah, that's fucked up. But yeah, no, the ending I disagreed with. Highly, highly disagree with the ending of that because I don't believe in suicide. Like I don't believe in like Like it's like no, there's so much more you could do before you get to that point. Like why, even his theory of why he did it.
I
Right?
don't agree with his gang making him kill himself over a lie that was
Yeah,
presented to the whole club that the whole club believed.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
no. That's what I mean. It's like no, like maybe like well, like the way he did his own self. But like say suicide by setting yourself up in a scenario where you know you're going to get killed. Okay, different story. But where you are purposely getting killing yourself is like no, like I don't believe in that. Like no, there's so much you can do before that. There's so much like I got in so many heated debates on Facebook about they're like call 1-800 suicide, this and that, and I'm like no, like if you're going to do it, don't sit there and just talk about it. Don't sit there and be like, oh, I'm suicidal. Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, somebody help. Somebody go do that. Because now you're seeking attention. Now you want the attention of this and that. If that's what you want, just say that. Don't just sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to kill myself if such and such person doesn't talk to me, or if so many people don't follow me, or if I don't get this that I want, I'm going to kill myself. It's like, well, no, now you're making threats. Now you're making a terrorist threat against your own body. Now you're threatening the people you love with the loss of your presence.
It's a hard concept for me to grasp.
Yeah, I'm
Suicide.
like, oh, there's so many more steps to and so many layers
I
to
mean, I've
it.
had friends that have done it,
Oh,
and
yeah, so many, yeah, so many friends.
and it's like I don't know why. I just don't.
No, and like, see, the biggest example for me that gets me is Robin Williams, right? Like
That was a sad day.
he made the world laugh. He made a gorilla laugh. You know what I mean? He made like a
You know what's
gorilla.
really sad about that? He killed himself on my best friend's birthday.
Oh,
Like we're
shit.
all sitting around the table, like getting ready to crack the bottle. Like I literally like imagine this full. I was like, and Buddy on the couch was like, "Oh, Robin Williams died."
Oh shit. The
We're all
fuck?
like, "We hate you. You couldn't just hold that in till tomorrow."
Yeah. And then you find out suicide. You're like, oh damn.
Oh, that made it worse. And then we all decided we wanted to watch a movie with him in
Yeah.
it. And we were
Yeah.
all debating on what movie to watch. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to watch his last stand-up comedy skit that he did,
Yeah. It
which
was
was that weapons of self-destruction. He
mm,
jokes about suicide in that one, and we all like look at each other around a table, and we're like,
damn.
"That was dark." I just got extra dark. Like,
But see, and that's the thing. Is like, how is like someone like that, that makes everybody laugh and
oh,
has
he
the
was
world
very
laughing.
depressed. I
Yeah.
remember
How they
watching a
talk.
documentary about him,
Yeah.
where he was super addicted to coke
Oh shit.
back in the Mork and Mindy days.
Yeah. Oh, he had to be on something because like there's no way he was born like that. Like, cause he was at like what was the one? Uh, well, Flubber he's a little bit calmed down. What's the one I watched?
Grab a smoke, but they're just like off screen over here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna plug my headphones and keep my microphone. So keep talking. I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, there's a few movies that he's just real eminent in, and it's like, what do you want? Like Aladdin, for one. He's just so many other stuff that he did that wasn't in the movies that they have for him, and he kind of did a bunch there. Um, a bunch of movies. I'm just trying to remember one that he was in, like a movie like Jack or Patch Adams or stuff like that. It's like, yo, like,
I'm glad you brought up Aladdin. 'Cause I wanted to say Will Smith.
yeah.
Wow. He's not Robin Williams, but he did a good job.
No, I haven't seen that one yet. I only seen the
I
Fred
haven't
Lightyear
seen the
video.
whole movie, but I seen the song because I'm a
Yeah,
fan of the Disney song. So, and I'll be like working on a computer thing,
yeah,
and I'll throw on the thing, and it just started playing an Aladdin song, and I recognized the lyrics, and I clicked over to YouTube. Like, oh, Will Smith.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
good.
That's where I saw it. They did a mashup of the two, right? They did a
Mm,
mashup of the two where
good
he,
mashup. It
yeah,
was a really good mashup. I think it was A Friend Like Me.
yeah. That's the one
Yeah.
they did the mashup of both of them, and then yeah, they cut parts to parts, and it's the same, still same song, same lyrics, but he just cut it up parts to parts, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, he just, it's like crazy how someone like that can go and be in that dark place like that, and like they say, like I hang from the same rope, but not from a knot like that, right? Like there's times where like I was like in this spot, but I didn't take it that far. You know what I mean? There's times
You
where like
thought about it. Yeah, I've been there.
yeah, like
But I
like
thought about it when I was thinking
yeah.
about it. That's the thing.
No, When I'm done.
I'm not going to discourage anyone from calling the suicide hotline. In fact, if you feel
Oh.
like you need to, I feel like you should.
Yeah, no, if you like, yeah, I feel you gotta do it, and you need someone to talk to. And as I tell my friends, it's like if you feel that way, call me, talk to me. Like that's different.
I'd rather hear your story than give your eulogy. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But if you're just gonna sit there and say you're gonna do it, you don't care, you're gonna do it. It's like, well, I don't hear that talk. I'm not here for that talk. I'm not gonna hear, like, oh, okay, well, your girlfriend cheated on you, or you find out that the baby isn't yours, or this, that, your dad died, or something like that. Okay, well, that's no reason to take your life, because you could have so much more from there. Like that's not a reason to do all that, right? The only time that I that I think not that I think it's okay, but that I think would
the
be
woman taking the baby, though, that's a lot to do with the legal system, too.
well, yeah, and like so in my struggle, I've learned that there's a lot of single fathers that end up committing suicide because the court system agrees with the mom or lets the mom have the baby or something like that when all they're trying to do is provide and do what they got to do for their kid, right? They work this job and they're out of town for months
And
and then
the
they can
baby
only see
mama is generally, in those cases, interested in weaponizing the kid against the father to get as much
well,
money.
exactly, right? So many situations where the single fathers have done that, right? So, and that's almost where, for me, it's like, okay, well, if your whole life is your kids and something happens to your kids and you want to commit suicide, I'm a little bit behind that because I would be in the same space, in the same mindset with that. If something happened to my kids, both of them, like I'd probably do the same thing. So now I have nothing to live for. Now I have no reason for my life. I'm back to being a teenager doing this and that, but I wouldn't want to do that because now so that's the only time for me that I'm like, I sort of agree with that mindset. But other than that, there's like, no, like,
You
no.
know what I love the best about this format, man?
Yeah.
Is if we get yes. Like, we could get yes if we
Yeah.
blow up.
Oh, yeah.
And they can just log in like you did and camera, and by then, hopefully, we'll have the sound figured out better.
Yeah.
Again, sorry to our audience.
Yeah. Oh man, for first time, this is all good. This is I like this little setting here.
We're just
Like this
winging
little
it.
setting. Yeah.
We're just winging it.
Um.
I'm taking roots, and we're just chatting. This is good. This is good. I like this.
I was going to say I probably can't go for much longer here because these kids keep coming in saying they're hungry and stuff. So.
Hour and 13 minutes so far.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
It's pretty good chat. Probably
Yeah.
go for another 15. We'll call it
Yeah.
first podcast, I think.
No, it's been pretty dope. No, it's like no, because there's so much in the world that like just needs to be, and that's like say with the suicide thing, so much that could just be talked about and touched on that could that could just be
think
expanded on, and you just
it's just important that we don't look at the world through a toilet paper roll.
yeah. Those little yeah.
We need to have an expanded
Wow.
horizon. And a lot of politicians say they do, but I'd like to ask a lot of those politicians, how many times they've been called a communist and a Nazi in the same hour in two different cases. Like, who
Yeah.
thinks outside the box?
Yeah.
I think there is good components in both the extreme left and the extreme right, and we can take the good components and leave the bad components.
Yeah. Yeah.
to-
No, the only thing that I'm like, oh no, I'm not okay with, but like if you raped a child or you touch a child, kill yourself.
That's not okay. That is unacceptable.
No, like kill yourself. Kill yourself right away. You know what I mean? Like do it this way. Like you save everybody the time and like the
If
bullshit.
you unpurposely go after a child,
Yeah, like off yourself. Like,
That's it.
but see now that's like that's a different what do they call it? That's a can of worms, because like, do you want them to take the easy way out? You know, they damage the child, they damage someone's life now. Do you want them to take the easy way out, or do you want them to suffer? Do you want them to torture? You know what I mean? You put someone who say they did something to touch a kid, right? Do you want them to kill themselves, or do you want the family members to do something to them, or in the court system they send them to jail, and now the people in the jail have to do something to them? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, where's the line at, you know? And it's like, no, well, you want this person to suffer the most extreme punishment ever for doing something like that, because now you damage someone for life. So now you need to be damaged somehow for life. It is almost like eye for an eye type deal, but like, you took someone's innocence away. There is no more eye for that, you know? There is no more fairness to that. You need to be to the extreme. And it's like, what's the extreme? Like, you know, it's like, where is killing yourself the extreme, or is having something, lethal injection?
It is a can. It is a can of worms.
Yeah, you know, it's like
But I
fuck.
mean, there's even some situations where I question the validity of the guy's innocence or guiltiness, we'll say. Right?
Yeah. Oh, there's been times where like, yeah, you know, go to
Like
a party.
guys that go to a bar and the kid dresses older than she looks and doesn't even get ID'd at the door, and then things progress from there.
Mm-hmm.
Or like let's say a guy sleepwalks or something, right?
Yeah.
It's a tough can of worms.
Well, I've had a situation like that happen to a buddy where he's 19 and the girl was 16, but she
Yeah,
didn't tell
there
him
you go.
she was 16. And then they end up hooking up, and then because she didn't like it, or she didn't like people found out about it, right? And then it was supposed to be a secret. People found out about it. So she tried to say that he raped her.
Legal though.
But it was like, no, like so many people were there. It's like, no, it wasn't that type of scenario. You were on him. You were on him the whole night. You were
16
sitting on
and
his
19,
lap.
that's not even bad. I,
What? No, I didn't
16
really.
and bad, and 19 isn't that bad.
Well,
I have to
but
say
like,
that because
you know, like,
that's
and
like a
it's like,
3 year difference. That's like a 25-year-old dating a 22-year-old. You know,
well,
it's not that
that's the thing.
bad.
But like the way the law is, right? If you're
The way the
18,
law is,
anybody isn't, you know. And that's
and
what I
that's
mean.
what
It's
I
like,
think that whole thing they tried to pass in California, where they're like they're legalizing pedophilia. No, they're just trying to give the judge more leniency in cases like that.
yeah, yeah, no. That's you know, on Facebook that pedophilia is a sexual orientation. I'm like, no, fuck that. That's just,
That map shit. Yeah,
yeah.
I know they were trying to infiltrate the LGBTQ2 community, and the LGBTQ community was like, "Fuck off."
Yeah, no. So yeah, but it's like, yeah, it's like you just gotta like know
Like
certain things.
nobody likes those guys.
Yeah. And so, and like in my buddy's scenario, right? Like you're saying, like he couldn't afford a lawyer, right? Because he's only 19 years old, not really working too much, right? Still in school. He couldn't afford a lawyer at the time. So if his friends didn't go to court and stick up for him, he would have been charged as a pedophile and got sent to jail as a pedophile. Who knows what would have happened to him from there, you know?
Of course, I wonder
So
sometimes. I question the psychology behind it too.
yeah, so it's like
I
you
think
never know the scenarios, situations.
because I watched this weird ass documentary once, and I think it was on Netflix. I remember my cousin showed it,
Yeah,
and it just brought up this point that said there's something in a pedophile's brain. This is what the scientists have noticed who study pedophiles. There's
yeah,
something because you know when you reach that age where you start to hit puberty and you start to find girls attractive. You know when you're
yeah,
like 12.
yeah.
Okay, there's something in the pedophile's brain that stops that attraction from growing with the brain, right?
Okay.
And I'm wondering if there is some type of plant out there, maybe like a LSD or a psychological DMT that could maybe reset it and make it
Kind of grow as the body grows.
kind of grow up. You know, have you ever heard of a kid that's like 30 but has the mentality of a 13-year-old?
Y- Yeah, separated from the pedophilia part. That's me.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
me. Yeah,
Okay, but that's what I'm talking about, but
yeah,
only in the terms of sexual attraction,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And I'm wondering if science can render some sort of cure or therapy, if you will,
Yeah,
that would help that.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
That's
That'd
an
be something
interesting.
else.
I am not for it. I'm not advocating it. But if
Yeah,
there's a way to cure it instead of just killing them,
yeah,
that's an interesting route, and I think it's worth exploring.
yeah. So no, like the thing with me, like I've always been attracted to older women, even when I was younger. You know,
Oh,
always, always like But it's
to
like
be
it's
my age or older in maturity.
yeah, and like it's like something because like I'm not attracted to like older like grandma type women. You know what I mean? But I'm attracted to like
But that's what I'm talking about. As you grow to be their age, so should your sexual attraction to those type of women.
oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah.
You
Oh,
see what I
probably, yeah. Because when I'm a grandpa, I'd probably be like, oh, damn, okay. But like when I was little, I always liked the older like business type women. You know what I mean? Like the ones that were like in high
right,
positions and stuff like
right.
that, right? Yeah. And now I like the ones that are like more the mom style. The ones that like handle a lot on the plate but don't break, right? Like But like before, it was like it was like I want a woman that has a bunch of kids and has a job. Now I'm like, no, I want a strong woman like that. That's the type of woman I want. A strong woman that has kids and has a job at the same time and still has sanity, And like, yeah. But growing up, it was like, no, I want the business. The what's her name? Posh Spice was like one of the remember Spice Girls. Her
Oh yeah,
girl I wanted,
I was
like
always
that,
a
like
fan of the blonde though. What's her
yeah,
name? Baby
and like
Spice.
yeah, and like the girls from the James Bond movies and like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like Halle Berry and like stuff like that were the type of girls I was like looking up to and like
Farrah Fawcett, Charlie
yeah,
Angels.
yeah. And like growing up, one of the girls was Topanga from Boy Meets World.
Right.
That was my like that was my thing. Like even when I was a kid, so when they were kids, I was kids. When that show started, I was the same age, right? So growing up, it was like the
When
same.
I started to get attracted to girls, you know who my first secret crush was?
Who's that?
Wednesday Adams.
Yeah.
From the Adams family, Wednesday Adams.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, again, I was like 9, 10 when I started to get attracted to girls.
That,
So
that's and
9, 10
and
years
see
old,
now
like
like
I
this
kind
is
of
like
like
the
Wednesday.
weird
She's kind of cute.
yeah. So now like how does this work? Okay, so now say you watch a girl like you're young and you're growing up too, right? But say a girl like say Eminem's daughter, right? So now you're watching her grow up
I
and
can't do it.
you
I
hear her
can't.
when she's little,
Oh
right?
my god, it's
And
so
now
weird.
you see her and now she's like the smoke show, you know what I mean? But like you saw her grow up, like how does
Oh.
that
But the weird part is I was listening to Eminem, and you know his daughter. I mean, when I first heard Eminem, I was like 9.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have
His
been listening to
daughter was like 2.
yeah,
That's a what 6-year difference.
yeah.
That's
No.
not an uncommon thing when both people are adults. But yeah, I see what you mean. But
Yeah.
my point is I kind of grew up too with
Yeah.
her.
You grew up with it, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, and like certain things it's like, and that's where like I don't sympathize with like dudes that like, do like, pedophile stuff like that, but like there's like a fine line of like, okay, well, you understand like you're way above this girl's age, so it's like, okay, well, no, But it's like, hey, well, you grew up with such and such. Now it's a different story. Like you're in the same age realm. So as a kid, now it's a different story. But like that's how some dudes go into that. They see like a family member, a cousin of a cousin or something like that, grow up, and it's like, okay, well now she's 18. Now I'm going after her. It's like, yeah, well you're 35. Like, what are you doing? She's 18. You're 35. What the fuck's wrong with you? It's like, oh well, now she's 18, so now I can go at it. And it's like, no, dude, like chill out. You know what I mean? Where it's like if a girl, you're both, she's 16, you're 18, and then you guys grow up, and now you're 28 and she's 26. Different story, right? But it's like, you can't watch someone grow up. You can't be 18 and you see someone who was 2 years old, now they're 18 and you're 35. Like that doesn't. No, you can't. Like that's kind of the messed up part of that one, right? But that's
Right.
what I say. It was like Eminem's daughter, Lindsay Lohan. Who else? The girl from Harry Potter. Like stuff
Oh,
like that.
Hermione.
Yeah,
What's her- Emma Watson. That's her.
yeah. Like you see these
So
girls
weird to
grow
see
up.
her play Belle. in the
Yeah,
media.
even the girl that plays Wednesday Adams. You know what I mean? Like see her now, it's like, oh shit, goddamn. You know what I mean? What's the movie? Black Snake Moan. You ever see that one
Oh no.
with
What's it about?
Samuel L. Jackson? She has something about her that's like a sexual disease or whatever like that. She's out sleeping with everybody. So this old black crazy dude ties her to a radiator, so she can't go nowhere to get this thing off of her, right? And it's just like, it's like crazy. It's like, oh shit, damn. So, but like seeing her in that movie, like she does a lot of sexual things
What's
compared to
that
the
called?
Adams Family, where it's like she's a little kid. It's like, oh. So it's like, yeah, you got to know that boundary. You got to know that level to that. You can't just like be wilding out like that because that's just not cool. So
For
yeah,
sure.
no, I'm
And
not.
yeah, before we close off here, I think next week, I think we're gonna do one of these a week. And
Yeah,
I think next week we should talk about religion and politics.
oh yeah, that's another can of worms too. But yeah.
That's what we're here to do. That's what we should call it. No, we're gonna call it opening cans of worms.
Like he's like, can I have a piece of bread? I'm like, man, I'll make you some food. Chill out. So
All right. Well, I think we opened enough of this can of worms for today.
yeah,
So we'll probably talk some more during the week and do some broadcast tests for next week. But next week, politics and religion should be a little bit fun.
yeah. Oh yeah, I'm all for that. Oh
We'll
yeah,
be a little bit closer to the election by that time. Some more crazy
yeah.
shit will probably happen by tomorrow, but we'll be able to have a script, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. No, no,
Isn't
no.
it crazy that you used to have to go into a coma for this much shit to happen in one day?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy. All right.
No, I'm good for religion because yeah, I'm definitely. That's
All
the
right. Well, it's good chatting with you, JR, and we'll see you next week, and we'll see everybody else next week.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, when you got the link for this up, hit me up and I'll spread it out and let people see it. So get some
for sure.
ideas from and stuff. So.
When I post it to YouTube, I'll send it to you, and I'll definitely email you the Twitch stream that we've been live this whole time. We've been streaming Twitch.
Okay.
So
Nice.
we'll do that, and
Sweet.
yeah, we'll work out these technical issues for next time for sure.
Alrighty, for sure. No, it's all good. I'm all for it. So. Hey.
All right, man, this is fun. I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty,
All right.
I'll let you guys.
If you get a guest too, for sure, invite him.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can guess. I got this one dude who his name's Kelly. He'll love to talk about everything and anything. Yeah.
All right, yeah, for sure. If you can get anybody, I don't care. I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, he'll love it. Oh, not the hair. Yeah. No, for sure. Alrighty, okay, stop.
No,
Alrighty, okay, I'll holler at you guys here in a bit. This guy's driving me crazy already. So.
Okay. Looks like you got your hands full, so I'll let you go. Good
Yeah.
chat with you,
Alright.
JR.
Okay, so
And
bye.
to our viewers, we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Peace. Stay good. Let's see.
Live long, prosper.
I don't know what I did.